good morning, good evening, or good night for some of you, wherever you are in the world. Thank you again for another time with Geoff Tyson, Conversations with Geoff. We are so happy that you are here. Oh man, we've got a great show coming up for you today. I just had a chance to chat with my friend from Atlanta. Man, she is, well, you're going to see her in just a couple of minutes. As always, before we get started, we've got a few things to go through, right? First of all, the first and most important one is to thank everybody that's been following us. Thank you for your continued support. You know, I mean, when you show up, you show some love to our guests, you show some love to me, and more importantly, you share this message. You help, as we ask, you know, and you participate in the chat. So when you're coming in, let us know where you're from, who you are. You know, sometimes Facebook or YouTube folks, we don't see your name, so just put your name in the chat. Please, 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 and your LinkedIn folks the same. We want you guys to know that you're important to us, and being able to stay in touch with you is important as well. So do those things and homework, and thank my team, as always, for making this stuff happen. Couldn't do any of this without you folks doing all you do for me and for us to help us reach that mission and our purpose. For those of you not familiar with Conversations with Geoff, you know, the whole purpose of the show came around when we started looking at all the chatter around different areas, and we summarized it into like three certain roles, right? Health, wealth, and community. And community, you know, that fits into everything in your business, in your family, you know, in your personal life, you know, your spiritual life, whatever that is for you. And then wealth and health, you know, you kind of figure out what that means. And most importantly, making you pay attention, become aware of the conversation you're having with yourself, about yourself, right? Is it that, what we like to say in this community, is it that stinking thinking? You know, that's stuff you say that just holds you back, stuff you say that, you know, only just takes away the momentum, stuff you say that takes you from a high super attitude to that low hanging, just depressed, slow motion stuff. You know, it's I can't do this, or I'm stressed out. You know what conversations you're having with yourself about yourself. We just like to remind you that that's okay. And also that there is solutions for that. And you know, because we believe you change your thoughts, you change your life. Now, in that space, when we talk about changing your thoughts, you have to be willing to pay attention to what you're saying and what you're doing to yourself. Whether it's watching the news all day long or at night before you go to bed, hey, I know you got to stay informed, but find out another way, right? Or you're talking about other people, whatever that negativity is that you carry with you, that spins in your head. And then in the morning when you wake up, I can always say, you know what you're going to be thinking about. You know how you're going to feel. It's not magic, what we're talking about, and why I get so excited about this, and why we say it's about the comeback king, man, because my whole life has been faced with it, dealing with the negative messaging. You know, as a little boy in the corporate world, and even though I had success in those areas, man, it was still that message that was still there, still chatting, you know. But I've learned how to replace those thoughts, replace that conversation, pay attention to that conversation, first of all, and then see the results, just like you have in your life. So it's not something we all have not done before. But the world being so out of whack and out of set, and families kind of figuring out what to do now, and in a crazy environment with the economy not so secure, and the politics are crazy, you know, all that stuff. Here we go down that rabbit hole, right? We don't want to do that today. And I want to say this, and then we'll kind of get to the guests, because I always like to give you something to think about. And, you know, this week is grandparents' week. So my wife and I have our 3 grandbabies. And you know, there's a 2-year-old, a 5-year-old, and now 13, a teenager. Oh, man. Woo. That's really interesting conversations to have with your teenager. Anyway, so, man, we're doing this. And I look at them, and, you know, there's no fear. You know, there's no hesitation in what they want when they hear no or don't do that. I mean, they are limitless in their beliefs and their capabilities, man. So I ask you, when did you stop looking at life through the lens of a child? That possibility thinking, that I want what I want, I'm willing to go get it, I'm willing to ask 100 times until I get it, I'm willing to take no or hear no 1,000 times until I get it. right? I mean, I watch them, and then more importantly, you know, they follow each other. So who are you following? And how can you change that perspective? Get yourself around a different set of community folks. Get yourself around folks that are focused on improving their lives and the lives of those around you. So, anyhow, the message in that whole little side note was that, man, what have we learned that we can unlearn about how we think, how we speak, and what action we take, right? Because, you know, you guys know where I'm going with this, right? It's I can versus I can't. It's I will versus I think about it. It's I must and I will not be denied no matter what. Because everyone has that right. All right, so subscribe to the channel, share this information, take good notes, because I'm chatting with our speaker. She's, you know, you're going to see a big, beautiful smile from this person. She's a healer and encourager, a physician associate over the last 18 years, and a teacher and an author. Boy, her subject is around resilience when life shows up. And she's got some really interesting things I want to find out about what she does too in and around that category. And mostly, I encourage you to take notes, re-listen to this thing again, because we're only going to be here for a short period of time. I'm not going to be able to get everything out of it that I want to. But ladies and gentlemen, let me bring to our stage Conversations with Geoff, Rosirma Corney. Hey.
Hey, how are you?
Well, fantastic. Rosirma, how are you?
I'm great, thank you.
All right. Thanks for showing up today. I know it's been a busy week for you and all those things. And so we really appreciate you taking time out on Thursday.
Thank you.
Yes.
Yes. Happy Thursday.
Happy Thursday to you as well. You're coming from Atlanta, right?
Yes.
Yeah. How's the weather there, real quick?
Right now it's cloudy. It's not summerish since it's summer.
Okay.
But I guess the weather didn't get the memo. So hopefully the sun and the clouds will dissipate and the sun will be bright and no more rain because it's been raining. So.
And I guess the rain has to have a right to make the grass grow and the flowers bloom and all that.
Touché.
Yeah. It really is not what you want when you're out there in the middle of it and don't have an umbrella.
Right. Right.
So I get it. So hey, listen, you know, as we do on the show, we kind of step into wherever we were before, and maybe just tell people a little bit more about you that I may not have mentioned, and then we'll kind of get to what we're here to do.
No problem. I am Rosirma Corney, officially from Brooklyn, New York, and I moved to Georgia 2006. And I've been a physician associate for 18 years. Physician associate is the same as a medical doctor without the MD title. So I prescribe, I diagnose, I treat medical conditions specified in gastroenterology, which is from the mouth to the bottom, and breast health. And I also I'm working on my online course about resilience and mental health, and I am an author of Disempower the Disappointment to encourage and heal.
You know, I love that, and that you're doing it from the mouth to the out.
I was trying to find the right words to say so people understand what that gastroenterology is.
Yeah.
Yes.
And let's talk about that for just a second, because I know, you know, that part of our body has so many intricate organs and things. What can you share with people that they can today start to think differently about without scaring them to death?
Yes, right. What you eat affects your body. Look at the contents on the cans, the boxes. Many people just grab things without realizing what it has in it. There are many contents, especially in canned goods, that are bad for your GI system, mainly your intestines. So if you're constipated, and there's different types of constipated, many people think I don't have a bowel movement for a day and that's okay. It's not. When you were born, if you see kids, they poop. Every time they eat, they're pooping. That's healthy. The average person has 20 pounds of stool in them.
Wow.
So it's very important to have a bowel movement every day. If you're eating twice a day, you should be eliminating that stool. I mean, the food of the stool twice a day. So if you're not having a bowel movement every day, go to your doctor because it's not okay. Drink
Yeah.
a lot of water. Your body is made up of over 70% of water. So let's say your weight is 100. You should be drinking half your weight. So that's 50 ounces of water a day.
Okay. I love that. So the story is true that we're all kind of full of crap. I couldn't resist
Right.
myself.
SOS.
Ooh, I couldn't resist that. And then certain percentage of water is good on that one. So those are all two good things. And I love the fact, my wife, I mean, just like 15 minutes ago, we were looking at a label of something that was purchased and we couldn't say half of it, right?
Right.
And then the other stuff. So, I mean, man, just great thing. And you can do that right now. You can stop picking up things that are looking, right? I mean, because what benefit would that help us do if we stop just maybe one category of things we shouldn't eat?
A lot. Like to incorporate more fruits and vegetables, especially the vegetables. Like I got into kale when I was doing a Daniel fast, and I'm a stickler for food. So, and people bother me about that a lot. Like, oh, you're so skinny. But I'm like, I do eat a lot. I do. It's just a particular type of food. So corn, as I shared with my godson one time, is technically not a good vegetable because it will eliminate itself. There's no nutrients in corn. But if you have kale, spinach, of course, your carrots, all that, because carrots has antioxidants, so that helps with your body to fight off diseases. So it's important to incorporate that on your plate versus the plate half of carbs. So your rice and your pasta and all that stuff. I share a lot with diabetes patients because many people tell them, oh, you're diabetic, so no more sugar. No, your body needs sugar. It's your energy source. So instead of half the plate carbs, a quarter of it carbs. And then the other quarter vegetables, and then you have your protein. So it's very important to don't eliminate foods because you do need them. Of course, if you have a certain disease where you can't process it, then that's a different conversation. But if you're an average person who can, don't eliminate it. Your body needs it. It's a good thing. It's just the fact that you overate that category. Like, don't overeat the category. Moderation. Everything's moderation.
I love that. I love that. There's so much out there that tell people what to do and what not to do. But it sounds like just kind of eat less of and more of the things that are good for you, and you'll be okay. And then check your body if you're not, if you're not flowing on a regular basis. Just do that and read the menu or the ingredients menu on the back. I mean, it's scary. I joke about it, but we do what you're suggesting in our household.
Awesome.
It works, And so if peanut butter is what you're buying, it should be peanut butter and not all the other things that you can't pronounce.
Yes.
I appreciate that, and I didn't know that your title had this similar credentials as an MD.
Yes. It's just the fact I didn't go to medical school. It's the politics. And of course, the MD title. But I do the same thing in the office as an MD in terms of I see the patient, I evaluate them. If they need a prescription, of course, with narcotics, there's certain ones I cannot give. And I order labs, x-rays, whatever they need. So it helps the schedule of the doctor a lot with a lot of physician associates as well as NPs, which are nurse practitioners who had a master's degree in nursing. And we're very helpful in the medical scene.
Yeah, so how just something I'm thinking, how would somebody, what would the first thing they would need to do if they're interested in doing that aren't that familiar with it, but maybe want some information? What would you tell them on that?
Definitely to shadow a physician associate. There are thousands of them everywhere, all 50 states. There's a website, aapa.org, in which you can learn more about the physician associate profession. And I believe it's top 5 professions, if I'm not mistaken, on US News of professions. And I remember one year it was number 1 a few years back. So physician associate profession is on the rise. It was recently termed physician assistant, and then it got changed to physician associate since the name implied to a lot of people that we were more of medical assistants versus associates of doctors. Hence why it was finally changed to associates, so people could understand that we're closer to the MD in terms of knowledge.
Good. Well, it was aapa.org.
Yes, aapa.org.
All right, we just dropped that in the chat so people can find that. Thank you for doing that. I think we can't have enough people that look like you in that profession, and I know there's a lot of them out there trying to get there. So, and I'm sure you would be a hand back to reach back.
Definitely.
For that. So thank you for sharing that stuff.
No problem.
So now, like, I guess you've been working in the system, and now the last couple of years you're kind of doing it on your own.
Yes, I've been working as a contractor, and I've worked with health. It's called corrections.
Okay.
I've been working in the jail system, which has been very, very educational. I've seen young as 17 years old, as old as 70 years old, which was weird to me. And people in a wheelchair. It's just very sad. Some of them, of course, it's the logistics of the politics. It's you missed your court date and you're in jail. It's sad. And but I learned a lot working at the jail and seeing the faces of many people and encouraging them at the same time. Especially with the ones, for me, when I look at them, I'm like, it's not on the news of like, this mean person. Like most of the, matter of fact, I do work at a jail, not prison. I learned that's the difference between jail and prison.
Yes.
And of course, when I shared it with some people that I worked in corrections, they're like, "Oh my God, you okay?" I'm okay. There's an officer right there next to me. Nothing's gonna happen to me. But with the inmates, they're mainly, most of them, as I said, they moved and the notice didn't get to them in time. And unfortunately, there's still a backlog due to COVID. Them to get a court date is backing them up to be in a jail, which is so sad. Due to that, they lose their job because of the amount of time they're in jail. I had one who was like, "Can I get like a notice to say?" And I was like, "I don't know about that part." So it's hard.
Yeah. No, it's good, and I appreciate your bravery to be willing to go there, and not that you have to, because I know you're protected. I've done some volunteer work in the systems as well, both the jail and the prison system. So I know that they really appreciate us coming in from the outside, number one, and they do all they can. I believe they do all they can to protect us while we're in there. So I appreciate that, and I can relate to that. And there are some really powerful experiences that I've had in that space. So now you're doing the 18 months. Tell how folks out there that are wanting to kind of branch out on their own. I always like to ask folks that are kind of in that 1 to 2 year stage, what was the biggest hesitation that you had in starting, and how was that?
As you mentioned, is your worst enemy is yourself. It's your inner thoughts. It's the, can I do this? Am I even qualified to do this? And when you're so comfortable, and comfortable is not a good thing, it's actually a bad thing when you're comfortable, and you get in this place of routine and you become stagnant. If you know geography, the Dead Sea is called dead for a reason. there's no movement. Nothing comes in, nothing comes out. And that's what happens when you get so comfortable. So I had to break out of comfortable and the pain, as they say, the pain of staying the same versus the pain of moving. Which one is going to outweigh? So once the pain of moving outweighed the pain of staying the same, I started moving. It's just like working out. Like, of course, the first day, everyone is like, but choose your heart. It's hard to be obese at 400 and you can't move versus your heart of picking up a 20 pounds. I mean, at least start with 5 pounds, you know? So I had to learn, because I always looked at the elephant. I'm like, I can't do this. And I had to learn, like, it's a bite at a time. So once I finally understood that concept, I was like, oh, just take a bite. And then all of a sudden the elephant was gone. So I was like, okay, next. Where's the next elephant? Let's go. So that's where I'm at now with my mindset to don't look at things so big. Just be like, okay, this is where I want to go. Now let's get to the different bites of it. So then all of it will be consumed and you go to the next.
I love that. I love that.
Yes.
It's so true. And I've been sharing lately about working out with my wife, and she's a runner, right? And I'll admit, sometimes she's like, "What are you waiting on me?" Because she's so fun. But I just remember what she's taught me: put one foot in front of the other.
Right.
You know? And winners never quit, and quitters never win. So, and you're talking about taking small bites. I love that. Yes. And the Dead Sea, man, what a powerful image. Yes. That's so true. So when you say comfortable, though, I mean comfortable because life was good for you. You had a
right. You're like, okay, I'm working my 40 hours, you know, the whole 40-40 club. Yeah. And it's like, okay, after I get home, I can rest. No one bothers me. And then weekend, I could do whatever. Then Monday comes. And you just do this routine and you're so comfortable with it, not realizing, I mean, to each his own. Some people do 9 to 5. That's for you. I'm just in the area of my life where, like, okay, I have all these talents and gifts. I could use them for me to build where I want to go. And even though I love gastro, but I love other parts of medicine also, where I just want to incorporate all of them and give it to a person versus work 3 different jobs to get these 3 different people. I could just have one setting to talk about gastro, to talk about the breast, and breast cancer do affect men, 1% of men. So it's not just a woman thing. And of course, mental health, because mental health does affect the gastro. Many people don't teach that in gastro. So I always, when I have my patients, I'll tell them like, hey, you've been stressed lately? And then all of a sudden they're like, yeah, I've been stressed. I've been anxious about this. I was like, okay, well, that's why you have reflux. That's why your bowels are not moving. That's why your stomach is hurting, because your mind and your gastro are connected. Yeah. It's mind gut. And your gut system has its own nervous system, which many people don't share with their patients, which is sad. But I do. And when I have my patients, because I remember this one lady, she came in and she was complaining and she's like, oh, I've been given all these medications to take. And I was like, tell me about your day. Tell me what's been going on in the past couple of weeks. And then she shared that with me. And I said, okay, how about you slow down, chill out, relax, decrease your stress. Don't rush going to the bathroom, because if you rush going to the bathroom, your body is going to say, oh, well, I guess I'll stay stuck here because you're not giving me time to come out.
Yeah.
And she emailed me maybe a week later. I was like, oh, I'm feeling better. I did what you said. And I was like, okay, great. But it's like everything is now a Band-Aid, a pill, a pill. Most of the time, it's not a pill. Like if you sit down and ask them what their day is like, you'll see that not that you're causing it, but you are, by your thoughts and your habits, you're causing your symptoms.
You're feeding them. Right. Yeah, no, you're feeding them. But that's so on point. You know, we were talking about And I hope people are hearing you when you're talking, when you're sitting there and you're in the doctor's office and you have these things going on, but you don't tell them or they don't ask you the other part that's affecting your head, your mental capacities at that time. You'll get sent home and potentially miss the diagnosis that you needed.
Right.
You know, I mean, that happens a lot. And I'm sure I'm not telling you something you don't know, but part of our health community, we talk about that, you know, and how we can make people become aware of the fact that, hey, if the doctor's not asking you these things, you need to tell them. My husband is getting on my nerves. I got 5 kids. I'm working 10 jobs.
Working 60 hours a week. Like if you're working so hard, clearly you don't have time to sit down and have a bowel movement.
Yeah, that's the last thing. That's a rush.
Right. It's like it's inconvenient.
Yeah.
It's part of your body because then you'll be sick and it causes all these other parts of your body to start hurting.
Yeah, no, I love that. And thank you for bringing up the health piece because that's near and dear. And people can really kind of go back and hear this and say, yeah, well, maybe I can reach out to you and get more information or find out how I can take care of myself. So thank you for sharing that. I mean, that's real stuff. That's real stuff. I'll get off of it. I was just talking to a nurse who has been in the profession a long time. She was saying these very exact same things that you just shared and how it's needed. So thank you so much for doing that. But before I let you go, I'm going to shift gears in here a little bit. And tell me about your book. Tell us about your book. How did that come about and why the book?
Yes. So Disempower the Disappointment, from Why Me to What Now, is about my journey from being in a life disappointment and how I journeyed through to empower myself back and take my power back from the disappointment and to empower myself. And that's Disempower the Disappointment. It was originally in my journal, and then I was told by God to put it into a book, which I was hesitant to do. And then I received a critic and told me the first draft, he didn't like it. And so I stopped writing it. And then God told me, finish the book. So I did. And to receive the feedback that I've been getting has been very amazing, especially from people I didn't expect it from. And my mom read the book, and I was scared to give it to her because she knows part of the story, but not the in-depths of mainly like the mental health piece that I went through. And I was reluctant, but then I was like, she asked, I'll give it to her.
Yeah.
And I spoke with her and she said, I read your book. And I was like, okay. And it touched a lot that she said, so how are you now? And I was like, oh, well, I'm great now. Like, I'm happy. I'm good. Mine is good. Like, I'm a better place. And she said, good. I'm very happy for you. And that meant a lot.
Yeah. I can just imagine and knowing a little bit about what I know of that. And I know people can get the book and all that, but there's some people that are I wrote it down too. They're in that disempowerment state now.
Yes.
And seeking to get to that. So what can you, from your own experience in a couple of minutes, what can you leave them with so that they too can say, I'm okay now?
Yes.
How do you get them there?
First, get a journal. Write your thoughts down. There is a quote from Anne Frank. She says, paper is best than people. And it is best for you to write your thoughts down. Remember that life doesn't happen to you. It happens for you. And to don't take the disappointment personal. This is part of your life journey. And to find 1 or 2 people to confide in. Don't find a lot of people. Some people honestly will not care. find people who will care and who you could trust with your emotions. And as I mentioned earlier, if you cannot find at least one or two, just write it all out. And as Geoff mentioned in the beginning, like be a child again. Like find that stuff that you used to do when you were younger that made you smile and start smiling again. If you like to dance, which is my thing to do, I'll put some music on and I'll start dancing. Yes, my life is chaotic, whatever, but in that moment, I am happy. And once you start having happy, you want more of it because that's also a hormone that's in your brain. So if you keep meditating on the disappointment, you will continue to experience it through your emotions and your thoughts. But if you concentrate more on the things that make you happy, you're not determined by your circumstances, and you will start to empower yourself by those thoughts. Watch comedy. My favorite guy to go to is Kevin Hart. He's so silly, but every time I watch it, it could be 20 times, I'm still laughing. And laughter, as they say, legit the best medicine. And it increases your serotonin, which is one hormone of happiness. Get off your phone. Dopamine is one of those. Mute your phone. So because every time you hear the bing, that's a dopamine coming out. And it makes you addicted to your phone. So mute your phone, put a time on your phone to be like, okay, I have 10 minutes here, and then you're off. As you mentioned earlier, limit your exposure to news. Really, you just need the weather. So tune into the last 5 minutes, and that's it. Well, the fact the weather sometimes is incorrect anyway, so just bring an umbrella every day and leave it. But yeah, so and that's how you start to empower yourself, be positive to yourself, have positive thoughts. I used to have a mirror and I had all these post-its on it. I'm now in the process of removing a lot of them because I've moved on and it felt good that I did that. And I learned that years ago. And at the time of when I was disempowered, I had those post-its, but I really didn't look at them. But once I was going through everything and I looked at them and I noticed the words on them, I was like, oh my God, I had to stare the whole time. Why I didn't tap into them when I was going through? And so I would say put post-its everywhere in your kitchen, in your bathroom, anything that encourages you so you can say it out loud to yourself and say it out loud so you could hear yourself. Hear yourself, it will go into your mind and your brain will start working and say, okay, I am getting a job next week. I am. And walk as if you're getting that job next week. Like go out with a suit, go out with a dress on and know you're getting a job next week. Fix your resume. Like do the things that that employed person will do versus be in your pity party and be in poor me. So that's why I put the subtitle from why me to what now. Because once I moved from why me, it was okay. What now? What are you gonna do about this? Because you are your person. You are the person that's gonna get you through this. It's no one else. It's you.
Wow, that was beautiful, and thank you. I was taking notes. You know, people always like to do that, and I love why me to what now, and all those things. I mean, I could see myself going through that in different parts of my life, just like those of you that want to hear this. Place yourself in the words that she's saying. Do the things that she's offering. Obviously, you know, get the book and make sure that. How do we get a hold of you as we wind this thing down? How do people reach out and get to you? How is that possible?
I'm on Instagram at Rosie Resilient. That's my new name. And my website is resilient.com. There you'll see some more of journals that I made, also the book Disempower the Disappointment. And coming up, I'll be doing an online course more about mental health and becoming resilient. And I'm hoping to build up soon a Facebook group so then we could interact together there. And also, I'm on YouTube. That's pending also. That's coming soon. And that's that.
So tell me, how
Yes.
I'm the only one here being able to put this in here. So how do you spell resilient? I mean, I'll just ask.
RESILIENT. Resilient.
ENT. All right. As road to resilient.
Yes.
.com.
Road number 2.
Nope.
Resilient.com.
All right, I got it in there, so there's no excuses, folks. Go there. If you can't find it anywhere else, make sure you get a hold of me. But please, please, please take advantage of the connection that you can get with this young lady. And truly, it's been an honor to have you on the show today as we wind down. And I hope you had a good time. I know I did. You know, and we enjoyed you so much.
Thank
so,
you.
The last word that you want to leave us with as you say goodbye?
Yes, to be kind to yourself, and just imagine the words that you're saying to yourself if you would say that to a young kid, and just speak to yourself as a young kid, so then you can encourage yourself and smile. Smile inside, smile outside. Life, honestly, is not bad. There's a lot of good happening in this world, and you're a part of it.
Thank you so much. There you go. I was going to ask you now. Ooh, Rosirma, thank you.
Thank you.
And we will talk to you another time.
Yes.
All right. Bye-bye. Oh, man. Whew. Hey, listen. Make sure you go into the chat, get her contact information, and let's surround yourself with her as much as you can. I mean, there's a lot that we didn't get a chance to talk to you about, but she made some really great informational nuggets around medication and talking to the doctor and finding out things and just, you know, oh man, if you're not pooping, and you're full of crap, you better get a hold of her. Yeah. So thank you again, my friend, for that. And then as we wrap this thing up, you know what I always say, that's thinking. Now you know why it's thinking, because it's backing you up on you. Anyway, stay focused, Geoff. I mean, that was amazing. Anyway, we want to thank everybody that's going to hear this later on and drop a note in here about how she served you and the information was helpful. And please subscribe and share this information and join in as we bring in some powerful guests like what you saw today and be a part of a mission that's focused on empowering 1 million folks with the gift of self-conversation, changing that being aware of it, connecting some energy to changing and doing some things differently on a daily basis. Like she said, right? There were several things that she mentioned so you can do that and begin to make a difference in your life. So stop being comfortable. Be bold. Do something every day that scares you, right? And remember this, there's no better time than now to step into whatever it is that you want to do. There's no better time than now to get connected with people that can help you get there. If you want to level up, there's no better time than now than just to do it, baby. Let's get busy doing it. Check out my information. We've got some things going on in the description where we got some little private time. We can chat if you need more information about me. And lastly, do yourself a favor. Take one word that you're saying that you know you shouldn't be saying, that's not useful for your momentum. One statement that you're saying on a regular basis. Listen to yourself. What is that statement? I'll try. That's one. I can't. That's 2 words. But anyway, find some of those things and begin to make a difference in your life. All right. We'll see you on the next episode. Thanks again for joining us. Become part of the community. Conversations with Geoff. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.